Let's get one thing straight here. The people who are playing Xbox right now on a new 80-inch flat screen TV they stole from Target this week don't care about what happened to George Floyd. Have you ever noticed that Democrats and progressives and leftists are always finding a way not to hold people responsible for their actions? They tell us that the rioters and looters are understandably angry, and for that reason, they get a pass. And it really doesn't matter that the cop in Minneapolis was arrested and charged with murder. The problem is systemic. Now, why do they do that? Because if the problem is with the system and not the individual, they have a reason to change the system. If you want to understand the left, you first have to understand that everything they do is political. That's why the violence we see in Chicago every weekend isn't something they're too worried about. There isn't anything to be politically gained by being outraged about that. However, there is something to be politically gained by not trying to fix that problem. They get to blame all that violence on the system. This weekend, tear gas had to be deployed near the White House to keep protesters back. If that doesn't show you that this is all political, nothing will. Did the police need to do that to protect Obama when the riots happened after Michael Brown was killed by a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri? It's weird how they didn't blame the president back then, isn't it? Well, there was nothing to be gained politically by blaming Obama, so they didn't. The video of George Floyd laying on the street dying with a cop's knee firmly planted in the back of his neck is so hard to watch that I couldn't finish it. People have every right to be upset about what happened, and we should demand that justice be served. And guess what? Everything is going exactly how it should go right now. Federal, state, and local authorities are investigating it. He's even been charged in record time. So why are so many people rioting and looting? Because just like we saw in the run-up to the 2016 election, Democrats think civil unrest is better for them politically. A lot of the people rioting aren't even from Minneapolis, and the ones who are don't care about what happened to Mr. Floyd, and they don't care about their communities either. And Democrats don't care to hold them accountable for their actions. So much so, Hollywood stars like Seth Rogen and Steve Carell are donating money to bail these criminals out of jail. They're actually supporting the riots with their wealth. That's how bad they want Trump out of office. Like I said, this is all political to the left. They'll even try to frame this whole thing as a protest. But here's the thing. We support peaceful protests. It's the left that does not. We saw it recently with the demonization of people protesting the shutdown. And we saw it when the Tea Party was vilified back in 2009. Those peaceful protests had to be disparaged because they hurt Democrats politically. You know, we don't even know if this incident was racially motivated or not. That's one reason why an investigation is important. And for those of you who instantly make it a racial issue, you're falling directly into the left's political strategy. They've influenced so many people on the issue of race that a white Trump supporter on Facebook actually told me that because I'm a white guy, I don't get to have an opinion on this situation. He said that me thinking I'm allowed to have an opinion about what's happening right now makes me part of the problem. That's pretty disheartening to hear coming from a Trump supporter. He may be voting for Trump, but he's become a tool for the left. Do you guys remember Justine Damond? She was killed in Minneapolis by a cop in 2017. She had called 911 because she thought she heard a woman in the alley getting raped. When the cops showed up, she went out to talk to him, and one of the cops shot her in the chest, killing her. She was a white woman, and the cop was a black man. That investigation took 8 months, and he was eventually found guilty of third-degree murder and manslaughter. No one rioted, no one looted, but people were concerned about what happened, and justice was served. And I don't doubt that the same thing will happen in this case. But it's not about justice for Mr. Floyd, just like intentionally destroying the economy wasn't about saving lives. It's about politics. There has never been an incident like this one where virtually everyone who's seen the video thinks that a crime was committed or at least agrees that it needs to be investigated, including the president all the way down to the mayor of Minneapolis. This should be a uniting moment. Instead, you got the looters out robbing stores, rioters out committing violence, and people on the left exploiting this tragedy for political gain. They're posting pictures like these, claiming that this is the officer that had his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck, wearing a Make White Great Again hat and standing directly behind the president at a rally. Just to be clear, this is not him. Look, Democrats will continue blaming Trump, and they'll continue blaming the system to try to force their big government systemic changes onto the rest of us. Holding individuals accountable for their actions does not help them politically, so personal responsibility is out of the question. Ironically, the evidence of all of this systemic racism is always happening in cities Democrats control. The last Republican mayor of Minneapolis left office before I was born, and he was only the mayor for 2 days. So if the argument is that the problems the black community faces are systemic, then it's the system that Democrats have created. And that's the simple truth. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you want to become a supporting member of Blue Collar Logic, click on the link in the description and give what you can.